All right, man. How are you doing, bro? Uh, it was much funnier in my mind when I thought about it. Tomorrow is gonna be the day that marks 1 month after my breakup, and I thought I perhaps could share some of the lessons that I've come to understand in the time in this month. I guess 30 days. The experiences that I guess I managed to draw some lessons from. Yeah, yeah, it was a different kind of experience to go through this month. Fuck me, it's been weird. It's been fucking weird. I'm not gonna lie. It's been it's been weird. Yeah, that's all I have to say about that. It's just a lot of different emotions, mixed feelings. I still have them sometimes, but now when I've gotten better at regulating the thoughts that come in my mind about this and just kind of reminding myself of the things that I've come to understand, like vocally, just saying them out loud, whenever I'm like alone or something, or even in public, bro. Like sometimes I'm just talking to myself like a crazy person, like a little bit quieter. But I just remind myself of these things, and I would like to share them with you. If I really hope that you can gain some value from these lessons, because I think I would have genuinely appreciated to have those things in mind and to have somebody tell me these things who's went through that exact experience of this breakup. My breakup wasn't like a very violent one. It wasn't anything. We didn't fight or anything. It was just, I guess, we lost. She lost interest more or less. She found everything's more important than this, and that really bucked me out. That really messed me up because I thought for such a long time, I lived with the idea that she really wanted this. She really cared about this. She really desired to be in this relationship with me, and I was so happy. I was like, man, oh my god, finally, somebody who actually wants to be with me and who's not like just, I don't know, just kind of driven by some short-term emotion. Like, this girl's liked me for a long time, so I guess I took that as a green flag. And yeah, that brings me to my first point, is that you have to be very careful of the ideas, the expectations, and the way that you perceive somebody. Like the expectations that you have from that person, the ideas that you make regarding that person, regarding your future with that person. Be very careful about your perspective of that person. Be careful about the way that you view this certain person. And here I'm going to talk specifically in a relationship situation, but this can really be applied to almost everywhere and almost everything, right? This is more or less a fundamental thing. The way that you see a person, the way that you understand the person, the way that you think a person works might not always be in concordance with who that person is, really, like the objective reality of that person. Your altered reality, your subjective reality that you have made over, I don't know, a certain period of time of spending time with this person, or like spending no time at all, and you just have like a very warped uh, idea of who this person is, perspective. It's really different from the objective reality of that person. Imagine this. I'm gonna give this like it's my personal example. I always lived with the idea that this girl, she really cared about me, that that she loved me, that she wanted to be with me, and that she was willing to put in the effort. I really thought that. I really believed that. I really believed that she was willing to put in the effort, as I was, and to try to be together with me. And for a while it worked. Like we were together like 5 months. We dated for 5 months. So for a while it was nice, I guess. But I guess at some point when school started, because we started dating in what, like June, I guess. I think June. Yeah, I have to stop saying I guess. I say it all the time. All right, sorry. I'm not going to say that. We started dating in June and we broke up in on the 17th of November. So I had time, I had time to make up an idea of who this person was, and I had time to make up the idea of what I thought this person was about, and I thought that she loved me, and I thought that she really cared about me. And perhaps that's the truth, but I'm not sure. Considering the way that it all ended and how swiftly it all ended, I guess this is just my personal take, right? Uh, I have to mention this because it's so easy to just get caught up in my own side of the story or in the other person's side of the story and not hear out the other person. Like I don't know what's going on through her mind. I don't know what kind of ideas she had. I don't know if I would have done the same thing if I were in her place. And so, but yeah, I made up this idea that I had different kinds of traits and vices and things that I associated with this girl. That yeah, this is the girl that I'm dating. This is her. I know her for this. But now, I'm thinking back on it, and I'm kind of, I guess, more or less seeing her now because I'm seeing her in class every day, which kind of sucks a little bit, but yeah, I'll survive. Some things just don't add up. Some of the ideas and the perspectives that I had of her, it just doesn't add up. And I think to myself, you know what? Maybe that thing that Jocko Willing said on some random podcast talking about some guy having a tough breakup, and saying that your vision of that person, your perspective of that person, and who that person actually is are like two very different things, and your perspective can be very warped sometimes and very far away from their reality, and perhaps that's what's gonna hurt most when you realize that that person, they were not who you thought they were, and that really hurts. But we have to be conscious of this because it's so easy, when you meet a person, especially people who think a lot, like, bro, people who just overthink the fuck out of everything around them, like me. Like, I'm a chronic overthinker, I guess. I said it again. I'm a chronic overthinker, but I'm trying my best to just kind of stop it, to just kind of lay it off a little bit, to be more of a chill, relaxed guy. It's so easy for us, as chronic overthinkers, as most of us might be, who are watching this, who are like always thinking about things, always trying to make up goals and expectations and ideas for plans for the future, right? We always make plans for the future. We always, like, we have so many things planned and everything, and it's so easy to get lost in this and to like just stray from the actual reality of the situation. And this is why I was so surprised when she said that she wanted to break up. Like, what? Where did this come from? Perhaps if I was more attentive of the situation back then, in the weeks leading up to that certain moment, I would have realized something's not right here. Something's like going wrong, terribly wrong, and perhaps there's something I need to do about it. But like, I was living in my mind with this completely different idea. Oh, she loves me, she cares about me. She's not gonna do that, bro. Like, she, like, I journaled. I remember my journal entry that I had the day before meeting her. Like, we met on Sunday and she told me that she wanted to break up. On Saturday, I wrote a journal entry saying, like, writing about this, saying that I was anxious that I think we're gonna break up. But then at the end, I was like, but I'm probably just overthinking it because this girl, she loves me and I love her, and I'm gonna do the best that I can to be with her and to understand her and to support her because that's what you do when you love somebody. Or at least I hope this is what you have to do. I hope I did it right. And that, she was not gonna do that. Like, she was not gonna break up with me. She probably just wanted to say something, and it was gonna be a bit hurtful or deep or a bit challenging, but we were gonna work through it because she loved me and she's told me that for like fucking months. And it's like, okay, well, I'll give her this. Turns out my perception of her fooled me, and I was left like with my face in the sun, just kind of staring at it like that. Like, holy shit, what's going on? How come my idea of this person is so warped, so different from who she actually is? and from what I actually thought this was gonna turn out to be. So keep that in mind and be very careful. And I think, as much as many times as you can remember this, as often as you can, just try to bring your expectations of that person, or like your perspective, your idea of that person, as close as you can to the objective reality. Because then, you will just have an overall better life, especially with that person. When you don't make up things about that person that you personally like, that you want another person to have. I've always been like a sucker for girls. I don't know why. Maybe I'm just not that masculine, but I'm trying my best. I don't know why it is. Maybe I'm just like more on the romantic thing or whatever. I don't know. I don't know. I'm like an artist, bro. Trust me. I'm like a stupid artist, but I've always been a sucker for girls. And when I finally had this relationship, and another time before that, with the first girl that I actually kissed, and that I went on dates with, I made up so many different ideas that I wanted that girl to have, like that I personally wanted that girl to have. It's like, fuck me, man. It's been a weird time. And when I realized, that it was not gonna end up like that, it was like gonna be something completely different that I was not expecting, because I had such a warped opinion of the girl. It really messed me up, and I think this is exactly what happened this time as well. For the first 2 weeks, I was fucking done. Like, I was not having anything. I couldn't eat properly. I felt like I had no appetite, and bro, I eat like a lot. Bro, I eat so much. My parents are scared. My mom cooks more than she ever has in her life, and I feel bad for her sometimes. I eat a lot, and I just didn't have any appetite left. And that was a big, weird, weird thing for me. Because it's been one of the only times in a year or two in which, like, I genuinely just didn't have appetite to eat, and that was weird. Like, the only times that I didn't eat properly were when I was like stomach sick and I was like vomiting my insides out. And for me to realize, oh, I'm having this again, like, wow, this must be something weird. And I think most of these consequences that I felt on a physical level, on a psychological level, on a spiritual level, they were because, on emotional level, they were because I was so surprised and so disappointed with the great discrepancy between what I thought this person was and what she actually was. I don't want to insult this girl because I've made some beautiful memories with her. She's been my first love. And one more thing. Keep this in mind, right? This is also like a pretty important lesson that I came to understand, bro. If you didn't like break up with this girl on bad terms, she's done something horrible or whatever, and you're like, screw that girl, right? If that's not happening, if you're just kind of moving on with your life, and I guess just things don't work out between the two of you, don't act like you hate her. Don't act like you dislike her. Okay? I get it. You don't, especially when you see her like on a very, uh, you see her a lot, right? Just when you see her very often, I guess it gets a bit annoying, and you can get annoyed and just kind of act pissed off or angry or ignorant. Remember that, bro. You didn't break up with this girl because she did something miserably horrible, bro. It was just circumstances were not right. Things were not right. You're still people, both of you, right? So just don't pretend that you hate this girl. Like, you've up until a week ago, bro, after the breakup or whatever, I was telling this girl that I loved her. Even on the day that we broke up, I was feeling like shit. I was feeling a bit betrayed, genuinely. I was feeling betrayed. I was like, what the fuck are you doing? I was a bit angry. But I told her that I left her because I did. And for me, 2 weeks after, to just, oh, fuck that hoe or whatever, or screw that girl or whatever, she's a piece of shit or something, for me to say that just felt so unnatural. For me to try, like, to force these thoughts in my mind, it's like, no, I don't think that about her. I genuinely don't. As much as I hate what's happened, I cannot make up such a bad and warped opinion, a negative opinion of her. Like I just can't, because I've loved this girl, and even now when I'm like back then, even back then when I was like angry and like very pissed off, I was just, even then even then I loved her. But just don't try to act like a horrible human being, right? Just don't do that. Just try to face what's happened with a clear mind, with a clear heart. Take in a few deep breaths and tell yourself that it's going to be all right. Remind yourself that you've been okay before, you're going to be fine, and you're going to relive. You're going to find out the reasons why life is worth living again. And perhaps you already have those reasons around you, just kind of cut them out to make way for this one girl. But don't act like you hate her. Don't act like she owes you something. It's just been what it's been, bro. Be happy. It sounds a bit corny, whatever cliche, but don't be happy. Don't be sad that it ended. Be happy because it happened. Honestly, it does. Like, why dwell on the past, which cannot be changed? And I get it. It's so tempting to just dissolve in a puddle of tears, and I've done it countless times for this month, and like weeks before that, up until that one point. Like I've dissolved in puddles of tears. Like I think I've cried like liters of tears. Probably not, maybe like a liter or something. I don't know if we're getting like really exact, but I've cried a lot. I dissolved into a puddle of tears. I let myself feel despair, misery, anger, frustration, all of the fucking set of emotions that you can comprehend regarding this. I let myself go through all of that. But yeah, just don't let yourself be caught up on the past, because the past happened. It's tempting to stay in that state for a long time, and I know a friend of mine who's went through like a very similar situation with another girl from my class, and they broke up like 1 month or something beforehand, right? So he's been double the time going through this, and he's worse than I am. Like he's recovered much slowly, and he's still having like very bad days, and he's still not okay. And that is because I think, in my opinion, he lets himself be overcome, like overwhelmed with these emotions, these negative emotions, hatred, pain, anger, fear, anxiety. And it's so easy to get caught up in that state and to forget that, perhaps there's also positive emotions that you have in your life. Like Alex Hermosi says this, and I agree with him. If you can have a bad day for no reason, then why not have a good day for no reason? Why not just like wake up in the morning and be like, fuck yeah, let's go, and just have a wonderful day. I'm still learning to kind of get through it, but I've one thing that I've done is, I keep reminding myself more or less of this. When I feel like I'm not having enough fun, or when I feel like things are just kind of a bit too dim and pissy or whatever, looking too bleak, I just tell myself, you know what? If you can feel like shit for no reason, then why not feel like content and excited for the future for no reason? I don't know. These are just some of my thoughts. Another thing, don't let yourself be don't overwhelmed. Second time I make this mistake. Don't let yourself be overwhelmed by the unchosen possibilities, the past possibilities that you could have had, the unachieved potential. It's a fundamental thing, and it's a fact that when you choose one thing, you cannot have this thing at the same time. When you have to choose between the two things, which in life it's most of the time it's like you cannot have both. You have to choose. If you choose this thing or this one, the other one is gone. It's not there. So accept it. It's so hard sometimes to just accept the fact that when you choose this, you cannot have this. When I chose to be with this girl, perhaps I took away some of the potential that I could have had, you know, meeting some other girl. Or when I choose not to be with this girl, that's it. I don't choose this, I choose the other thing. And try to be honest about that, and just tell yourself, you know what? I'm always gonna have regrets, more or less. Like you cannot live a life without regrets. But what you can do is have as less regrets as you possibly can on the thing that you chose. You get on what I'm saying, right? Just have less regrets. Try to have as less regrets as you can on that thing that you chose. Because the other thing is like unachieved potential, whatever. Perhaps you're always gonna fantasize about that when things are not gonna be going great on this side that you chose. You're gonna be like, if I would have chosen the other thing, fuck me. I would have been a different person now. But you didn't choose that. You chose this. So how about you make the best out of this? How about you make the best out of this, of what you chose? You know? And at least, I considered that I made the best of what I could at the time with this girl. Like I thought I don't have that many regrets, like of the thing. It was like I don't think I felt like, if only this would have happened. And I guess I sometimes think about it, but it's never really that intense because I just did what I thought was right, and in the end, I wasn't left with a lot of things to dwell on. I was just really messed up about the fact that it just ended like that. I still had like plans for the future because I guess you cannot do everything with a girl, especially when circumstances are different. When you're out of the city, when you live pretty far away from each other, when parents don't agree on certain things, and yada yada yada. Right? It's harder to get some things to be done like immediately, so you have to take some time, and yeah, you get what I'm saying. To some extent, I regret that I didn't have these experiences as well, but knowing that I just genuinely couldn't have them, or that they were like mostly absolutely impossible to have, I think I did the best within my means. And regarding the breakup experience, this 1 month, I think I did the best. Like I genuinely think I did the best, man. I didn't let myself be like fully fucked up by this. I still went to handball practice. I started driving. I started taking up driving lessons. I'm gonna have my exam soon for my driver's license. But like, I'm not standing in place. I've learned for exams. I've learned for tests. I've spent time with my family. I've gone out with my friends. I'm working out. I'm stretching. I'm not. I'm not pulling back. I'm not just saying, "Oh, fuck this, fuck that." I'm done. No, I'm still going on. I'm still moving forward. So I guess try to make the best of every situation that you're in, even if it's more pleasant or more or less pleasant. And know that one thing that I find it comforting to know is that all the opportunities that I found in love, like that actually materialized in front of me, they didn't come from me like actively just searching in and being obsessed over it and doing this. It came just like from me being absolutely fucking clueless of what was going on, and these girls in a way or another reaching out to me. And that's when it started, or I found out one way or the other that they liked me, and but it just started from me just minding my own business, doing my own stuff, clueless of what was going on. And then the opportunity somehow presented itself to me. And my one of my biggest fears is that when these opportunities will present themselves again in the future, that I will just let them miss. I'll let them pass. But up until this point, the only way that I could have let these opportunities pass was by rejecting the girls, was by saying, you know what, I don't actually like this girl. I'm not gonna go out. I'm gonna tell her that I don't like her. Because initially with this girl, who I've been with for like 5 months that I broken up with, initially I didn't want to be with her. Initially I thought to myself, I don't like this girl. I don't know, like I just don't really like her. I don't know. There's no like actual I just don't feel attracted by her. But then I spent more time with her and everything, and I got to know her better. Things changed. I guess, the only way that I could have missed that opportunity that was revealed to me was to was to say from the start, you know what? I'm not gonna try. I'm not even gonna try. I don't like you. Sorry, but I didn't say that, and I did the best out of the situation. Opportunities will show themselves to you, and you just have to keep your eyes open, and you have to welcome them with an open heart, welcome them with an open mind, and be willing to take some chances because we're young after all. We're so young and we have a lot to live for. And we have time to experiment with things and we have time to live. So how about we just fucking live? How about we take some chances, we take some risks, and when the later years of our life come, we can just say, you know what, I've made the best out of my past. Going back to the making the best out of the thing that you chose. I chose this thing in my life, in my past, and I did the best out of it, and I'm happy. I don't have regrets. Or at least I don't have that many regrets, and I can live with them and I can manage these regrets. I'm not going to waste any more of your time. That's what I had to say. Thank you for being here, and I'll see you next time, bro. When I have like more melancholic, sad breakup ideas. Whatever. See ya, man. Have a good day. You got this.